This is Gerald Johan van Waas and the educational channel related with the books Sound in Form, with two separate volumes as well as development of the word and the application of the word. The book is about showing a proof how you can understand vowels and consonants and the combination of them, and it proves that it is in the intentions that are there in the words, and they can be recognized, the intentions for what the words mean. So there is a natural law in there that takes care that all the sounds have the correct meanings, and this book is the building up of the theory, but you can learn also to sense it better this way. Now, I didn't give much attention to the second volume yet, so I will do that in some next videos. And the second volume, or the second part of this book, is called the application of the word. So this theory, I try to find out how it works on early scripts, and what other tendencies there are, and what other directions are underlying in the several of the scripts. And some of these scripts are like Japanese and Chinese, which I have investigated and compared it to my theory. And I will give you the first example of this here. So now I give attention to this book, of course. I had only just one review, which I ordered to make, and there was one comment in it, and it, okay, you cannot expect everything to be complete in a book of 600 pages. Is already a lot, but they said, okay, I was expecting a universal theory, and most of the examples are English and Dutch, just like in the videos. So why not the other languages? And the impression was that the Chinese and the Japanese scripts were given the interpretations, but I was giving a lot of attention to the sources where it came from. And that is true, but maybe it was a little bit overlooked. But I am really applying the theory there, and trying to show how it works in other languages. And there was a lot to say, of course, but okay, I will explain it a little bit better here than today, hopefully. And but you have to know something, that there are some differences between the, let's say, European languages, the languages that hang together. Anyhow, we all speak language that are influenced by some groups only. We are all Romans and Vikings in a way, so the languages are coming from these sources to start with. And that's why they hang together, they sound together. So would the theory also apply to other languages? I cannot say that for all languages, because I don't sense some of these languages very well, so I don't try it. But like Japanese and Chinese and some other languages, they intrigue me, and I immediately sense that they fit perfectly well. But there are some differences, and the differences I will explain with just one example. I took a random example of one of the words that I explained before. This is an English word, ball, and the words that are used here, they are very much focused onto one point only, so which is the object itself. So it describes the object exactly as it is, as you can see here. So it starts from a point of reference that has pressure going outside it, and it gives form. This pressure is given form. That is more or less the description of the word ball. Now let us see what that will do in Japanese. I didn't know beforehand what it was, the word, but I looked it up, and this is it. So I have then the word boru. If I pronounce it well. So let's see what it does. Now you immediately recognize that the script or the letter for B is is actually recognizable for its significations, because you have an orientation in it. That's that cross. You have something that points towards yeah, inwards, and you have also this pressure going outwards, which is also expressed in the word deliberately. With the O added, okay, I have to give it a surrounding, so a certain space, so in the continuation of this space. And the ru actually brings us back inward to the point where we started from in our orientation. In a way, it is also describing exactly the same thing. It is a pressure going outwardly, but it is actually a feature inside the object that has been described here in BALL or in BORU. But I will start from words that you can find in the book, like the word MEE or I. There is a symbol there. And before explaining the script form, or this symbol which is used to describe the I have to explain where the script comes from. So the association that made this form, it is an abstraction of an idea that came from the oracle bones. The oracle bones that you can find in several. There are several ways to make an oracle prediction, and these predictions are it's not simply superstition. It is a method that is used to try to associate the elements that are present in time and evolution. And why did we use the turtle there? The turtle has several sections in its form, let's say, the shell, several forms, and you can divide them very easily in the same way as you can divide days, and especially days of the moon and days of the sun are easily found there. I don't think it's very coincidentally that the turtle is very much oriented onto the moon cycles and sun cycles, and it knows exactly when it has to return to its former place. So it is actually very conscious of these rhythms, and maybe in a way it is the structure is there in its shell as well. And okay, I'm not going deeper into how you recognize the cracks when it heated up, and the cracks give the persons who are able to do these oracles associations, and they have some symbols that associate them. One of the symbols was this I as well. I'll explain that later. And the other thing that is also then as a very important reference to the making of the script is that the abstraction itself is based upon a field of where you can a field for where you have the harvest on it, and this double field is actually also the two main seasons, where the yin and yang is the yin and yang, meaning the balance between light and dark and cold and warm and so on. The whole seasons have a whole rhythm, and the better you recognize the rhythm of nature, the better you can of course apply it to having a good harvest. And these two parts you can recognize in all the words and all the elements of the script. And so it means that all the abstract forms that you can find in the script are directing you towards these activity in the seasons, and it is an orientation a general orientation of circumstances, and it also shows you which action should be taken when you have these circumstances. So all these letters have this in them. So when we come to the script, it means also that we have something extra compared to the Western script, which is just the sound and the sound description, and it is a letter that describes the sound more or less. But here we also have the context. We always have a context, and the context have the symbols. So you have immediately, every word has also its own context. So it doesn't only have the sound to give you direction of which action that you should take, but it also has the context of where are we right now at this time of the year, at this time of the circumstances, and this combination is always there. So it's not just the sound alone, and this makes it slightly more complicated, especially for the Chinese script, which doesn't focus so much onto the sounds themselves, but more onto the activity that is expected from you to be taken at the right time, at the right moment. It's very different from the Western point of view, which can take any actions with whatever, even wrong actions. Here the actions are guided a little bit, and that is a plus for this script. So let's continue with this symbol then. Actually, there's a much more easier symbol as well. The orientation is more or less like you recognize something in the cracks or in the circumstances, that there is something in the middle. There's a center in the middle. If you just find just one center in the middle, then it's like it's a source, it's a center, and it's a viable source. It's like the sun, so it's compared to the sun. So it's only if you only recognize one center point and it starts from the center point, you immediately have the first symbol, that one of the sun. It's in the abstract form. It's a square with a middle. If you translate it into a circle, okay, you have our symbol of the sun. But it's much more than the symbol of the sun, how we see it. It's also the viability of the sun, the viability where we have a source that it has an activity that guides us and that is positive for us. So it's a very good starting point. That's what it actually says. Therefore, the sound to sun, he, is perfectly there, because you not only in the form of the square, it's almost exactly as it should be, but it also says this is viable. It's not just the sun, it's also is connected with viability. It's a good source, it's a great source. And if you can do something with this source, then you can recognize within this area of focus, we recognize more than one center. We actually have the center that is a little bit wider, let's say. We have something that we recognize into a source, so we can apply it, we can do something with it, and that is the direction where MEE is going to. But let us first compare to the sound forms. In the last video I showed the M like this. Not that it is actually 100% necessary, but it is more or less the range of the expanding idea of M. And in the abstract orientation, where I have MEE, the M or the extension has to be extended even more, so it has its ability to extend goes beyond this. If I solely base myself upon this formation of vibrations, and let's say, and extend it, I have this will give the tendency to the letter E instead of A, because I don't have the squares. I also have one direction that comes out of it that is more dominating, and this will stretch the whole thing, and this makes it so that this form then more fits with the sound MEI. And I can express it like this as well. It's an extension ability, as you can see. So, as you can see here. MEI is also fitting with the English word, because MEI is, okay, it is Chinese as well. I don't remember what it means. I forgot to look that up, but MEI is also the English word, the Dutch word for the English word MEI. MEI, the season of, in the seasonal context, this is the month of May, where everything is also expanding extra. We also have this expression in Dutch: all the birds lay their egg in May, at A and May. And this is the extension there, as you can see. Even in the egg, it has the same expansion because it has the sound A, but that's another thing. So, and if we simply express MEE, it's more the general abstract rule of extension that is possible, not just in one direction, but in the general rule of expanding. If I would expand the whole thing and focus on that expansion itself, it's not just MEE as a tendency to expansion, but it is MEE. And MEE is also a Dutch word, and it means with, so you take something with you. MEE is also a sound, so MEE is in the letters in English we express it as MEE. MEE is based upon the same structure, but it is more based upon what you can take with you in two directions, because of the E, in two directions, what you can take and what you can get in expansion, in an extra expansion. So it goes, we associate it with a one center point but it is more like it's more associated with rather with selfishness, with what you want yourself. It's not egoism that I'm referring to, but it's what you can take. I want to expand. It's for direction from within, from the middle, and it takes something with you. So that is more or less the association that is used for it. Let's say it like that. Okay, it's about time that I compare it back to the Japanese word. And of course, then I also have to compare MEE to the seasons, because that's the context which it will always get. And compared to the seasons, it is of course also the direction of extension. And the extension, if you compare these two squares, then we start from winter and goes towards summer. That's the arrow which you can see there. That's always the association that I make from in the words. The winter is at the bottom right, and if you go up from the bottom right to the left, you go towards spring. So it is still fitting here. So it goes, in fact, towards the light, as a matter of speaking, in the seasonal context. So this directing towards the light I can show you like this. And with the perception to it that we also achieve and receive things, then we have the eye there in the middle. So it's the eye of perception, and then we have already our symbol. So MEE fits very well with the energy that connects ourselves from towards the light, actually, while the Chinese MEE is the other direction. It's more like, what do I receive here? Not what can I gain, but what can I receive? Well, you have also Noun. I cannot express it very well, but it's Chinese. There's also I. This is more the energy of receiving from one point to the other. It still fits as a matter of speaking, because how I can associate it from my theory, starting from my theory then. And the MEI is of course always the taking something with you. with a long A, but we have the short E, MEE, which is a focus itself. It's a useful perception, I can say. I can use it. That's what more or less what it says. I can use it as a perception, and I found something that I can use. So just like the MEE is the first center of perception, we can also go to the next symbol that fits it. So we connect it even further. So it splits into three parts, and in the extension of it as well. So it leads to a next further derived center here from the derived perception from the same center. So MEE is actually also the word for ear. So we have MEE. MEE is the first source of perception, and the second source of perception is of course the hearsay. It comes from further away. So the MEE is what actually goes much longer. The E is outside ourselves, so it also fits more or less with this description that I have there underneath. So we started from he, so it's the source itself, the life-giving source, went over to MEE with a direct perception, what we have received there, which we can use. In the MEE we can still use, but it's already an indirect perception that we received. So that's also already one example of how you can see letters, other letters and other scripts like the Japanese and the Chinese, for instance, and compare it to my theory, and then thanks to my theory understand these things even better. Two volumes are available together. There is also the volume 1 with a slightly extended version that builds up the theory, and also the application of the word is also slightly extended. And the ebooks are actually pretty cheap, just to let you know that it doesn't have to be expensive to check it out. Okay, this was it for this time. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching again. There is a website as well. I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more instructions, more examples soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.